Kakegurui is what happens when you take a bunch of overly freaked out, borderline psychotic females and introduce them to gambling. I still remember watching this show quite early in my anime career, but younger me did not have the mental fortitude to finish this anime. Quick story time. I was very ill at the time, and watching this specific scene for whatever reason sent me over the edge and made me throw up all the KFC I had eaten for lunch that day.
Leave me alone!
PTSD aside, I know you've seen this Yumeko meme in the last couple of days, and the way it's blown up made me want to give this show another chance and cover it for you guys. So let's cut the yapping and get straight into the meat and potatoes. Just for some background lore, Kakegurui takes place in a school called Hyako Private Academy, and it's attended by students who are extremely rich or have extremely rich parents. Its whole goal is to prepare them for the real world. During the day it's a regular school, but at night it turns into prime Las Vegas. They got every form of gambling in their school: loot crates, FIFA packs, horse betting, and hold up, is that Luigi's picture poker? Anyways, you can see how this can get problematic really fast. The first episode starts off with Lucy Hodfilia gambling against this brown shirt NPC. He thinks he has the better hand, but turns out he got swindled since she got a royal flush. Quick side note, I have absolutely zero gambling knowledge. I don't know anything about poker. I have never gambled in my life. The closest thing I got to gambling were those FIFA Ultimate Team packs. If you know, you know. So feel free to correct me in the comments anytime I say something that's wrong. Let's continue. Since bro lost the game, he's basically forced to become her servant. Damn, the opening for this show is an absolute banger, but the visuals might be the freakiest anime opening visuals I have ever seen in my life. Is she sucking on toes? We cut over to a new transfer student being introduced called Yumemo Jabami. The guy we saw getting used as a human recliner chair is called Ryota, and he's assigned to show Yumeko around the school. She asks him about the chain around his neck when he explains the gambling stuff that goes on behind the scenes, and instead of acting surprised, she starts giggling. This would have been enough of a red flag to permanently socially distance myself from her. These are the type of women that will actually ruin your life. Darkness isn't happy that a prettier girl than her has joined the class, so challenges her to gamble. Her name is Mary, and according to the class hierarchy, she's basically on top. They play a game called ballot rock paper scissors. Every student in the class will either draw rock paper scissors on a card and then put them in a box which Yumeko and Mary will pick out of. They will then play normal rock paper scissors. The trick of the game is that they can end up with all rocks, or they can end up with like 2 papers and 1 scissors, so they need to basically bluff to try and trick their opponent, but for the most part I still say it's pretty RNG based. Mary is really violating Ryota. I know some of you freaks in the comments would love to be in this position right now. Each chip is around 10,000 yen, which comes out to $65. Now I don't know about you, but to me $65 in high school is the equivalent to $650 in adult money. What do you know about £2 chicken and chips, £1 Dixie strip burger? Take me back, man. Inflation is killing my people. Yumeko decides to bet 2 chips and wins the first game. She follows up and says that she wants to bet 50 chips. That's 3.2k. They go again, and after drawing the first hand she loses, meaning she's down 3.1k. She acts like it's nothing and goes back to 2 chips, which she ends up winning. She wants to go again and once again bets 50 chips. They draw before she loses again. She's down 1,000,000 yen in the span of 30 seconds. Mary is cheesing ear to ear and starts talking spicy, thinking she just hit the easiest lick of her life. That's when Yumeko pulls out 10 million yen and goes to test Mary's gangster. She starts shivering in her timbers because we're talking about 65 bands. I have never touched that type of money in my life ever. Mary says she ain't participating, but that's when Yumeko rage baits her into playing anyways.
This nigga is crazy.
That's also when we found out that Mary has rigged the game by having the class write mostly rock and papers, meaning there's almost no scissors for Yumeko to have. Right as they're about to play, Yumeko pulls an L and says that she knew she's been cheating all along. Mary says it doesn't matter as they play their cards. Jan, Ken, as Mary throws paper and Yumeko throws scissors, making her the winner with 10 million. This woman is an apprentice of Showdown. I told you guys, a real life succubus, bruh. I would pay money to see Yumeko Jabami, Hikari, Tsunade, The Thing, and Michael Jordan at a poker table. That would be peak cinema. Ryota chases her when we find out that he was helping Mary cheat, and she found out by using a pocket mirror. But in the end, it all came down to whether she would draw scissors, which means she genuinely bet 65,000 doubloons for the love of the game. He apologizes to her and says he's going to leave the school when Yumeko gives him 5 million yen and tells him that it's all thanks to him that she got to enjoy herself today.
It should have been me, not him! It's not fair!
It's always these brown-haired bums that have their luck stat maxed out all the way like Prime Kazuma. Speaking of luck, I want to give a quick shout out to today's video sponsor. Zenless Zone Zero. In case you somehow haven't heard of it before, Zenless Zone Zero is a fast-paced urban fantasy action RPG set in the last surviving post-apocalyptic city of New Eridu. You basically play as a proxy and lead a team of agents which you hang out with and partake with in these like insane battles. Right now, Zenless Zone Zero version 2.6, still an encore for an old dream, is live, and it puts the spotlight on the brand new idol faction Angels of Delusions. The update features Suna, Arya, and Nanggong Yu, with Suna and Arya joining as new playable S-rank agents. There are also themed events centered around supporting the Angels of Delusion, plus new gameplay content and modes for you to dive into. And if you've been away from the game, now's a great time to return. Version 2.6 includes additional login rewards, daily polychrome opportunities, and limited time campaigns that make jumping back in even more worthwhile. If you want to check out the update, the new characters, and all the events, hit the links in the description and try Zenless Zone Zero version 2.6 for yourself right now. Let's actually get back into the meat and potatoes. The next morning, Yumeko and Ryota walk into class together and we see that Mary has been turned into a house pet and the whole class switched up on her. Damn. Let this be a wise lesson, my nephews. Never laugh or make fun of someone who's beneath you, because in a heartbeat, your positions could 180. Everyone is a bad day away from losing everything. We found out a bit more lore, and of course the student council once again holds all the power in the world. I wonder if it's even remotely like this in Japanese high schools. All the students need to donate to the student council, and the amount you donate determines your rank. If you end up in the bottom 100 students, then you'll be labeled a house pet. Apparently the school became like this after Kirari Momobami became the student council president, and with some of the stuff we see happen later on, you'd think this woman was the prime minister of Japan. There's only a few student council members and they are out here moving like the Akatsuki. Now once again, a normal woman would be completely flabbergasted by this news, but this gambling addict is having a borderline orgasm at the mere thought of getting to play with such high stakes. Whilst they are eating lunch, a student council member called Itsuki comes up to Yumeko and asks her to gamble together because she heard about how she defeated Mary. They decide to play a game of concentration, and it's pretty straightforward. All they need to do is find the exact matches for the cards that they have already drawn. Itsuki wants to wager 20 million yen and even goes as far as to lend Yumeko the 20 million with no interest. Let the gamble commence. They start flipping cards and it's honestly a pretty normal game. You basically just need to memorize what cards you've already flipped, so when it shows up again you can match them. Yumeko gets the first point and they continue to go band for band, but as the game goes on, we realize that neither of them has messed up even once, which means that they both have some kind of Mike Ross photographic memory. It was pretty even until Itsuki locks in and gets 10 correct guesses in a row. I would have called cap off rip, because there is just no way. Yumeko begins begging for a rematch, asking her for another game like Ashton Hall against Speed, and this freakazoid Itsuki says that she loves collecting nails and wants to take Yumeko's nails as compensation?
Well, I guess I do have a thing for collecting nails. See? Aren't they beautiful? Every last one I took from a person. I would love to take the nails off your fingers.
You don't have to accept this. It's
Very
absolutely
well,
crazy.
then. I accept your terms.
Yo, what is up with rich people doing the absolute most? People get rich and all of a sudden they start doing all sorts of nonsensical side quests. What happened to playing video games? What happened to golf? Yumeko agrees without a second's hesitation and they start their rematch. And lo and behold, Miss Fingernail Fetish was indeed cheating. She marked the decks with indistinguishable marks that vanish over time, and since her memory is so good, she can remember where each marked card is at. This is the same move 21 Savage was trying to put on Aiden Ross that one time. Yumeko pulls the first card and instantly hits green. I thought she got lucky, but she proceeds to do it again and again and again. Oh my goodness, you'd think she was Bucky Barnes. She proceeds to G-check Itsuki, asking her whether it was really smart to risk tarnishing the brand of her family's gaming company by producing rigged playing cards for a school gambling game. She played her like a fool. We might be looking at the female version of Ayano Koji. She remembered every single card after only playing the game one time, making her the winner without even letting Itsuki get a turn. Damn. Itsuki is having a mental breakdown as Yumeko flips the script and tells her to rematch, so this time she can take all her fingernails and toenails. Yeah, you know what? I've seen enough. Yumemo Jabami might be an apprentice of Shaitan. The mind games were so deep. Even the psychopath nail collector started crying. The news has reached the student council and these guys are actually moving like the Espada, bro. Look at this. What are Japanese high schools even about? Yumeko is in flow state and wants to play another game, so they go to another student council member, but they catch Mary at her absolute lowest with a smooth 49 million in debt. I know I shouldn't laugh, but she was so cooked. She damn near went Super Saiyan. Please let this be a warning, my nephews. Don't gamble ever. Mary done lost the sparkle in her eyes. She was playing against Unohana, and it's obvious that she was once again cheating. Her name is Yuriko, and she invites Yumeko to play an original gambling game she came up with herself. Yumeko obviously agrees, but I'm with Ryota on this one. Why would I play a game that you came up with yourself? That's like trying to fight someone in creative mode whilst you're in hardcore survival. The game is called Life or Death, and it's basically like a game of roulette. There is a board with numbers on it, and they need to guess the correct number. However, instead of a ball, it's like these mini swords. Additionally, if the sword lands sheath first, your earnings get a 30x increase, and if it's head first, then it's a 30x decrease. This game's some nonsense. People will really do anything to cheat. They decide to bet 40 million yen, and after the first set, neither of them hits the jackpot. Yumeko starts cussing out Yuriko and calls her out for her slimy tactics she used against Mary, and actually calls her hot dookie garbage at gambling.
You're shit and you know it.
This was from the actual dub. That had both her and her assistant mad as hell. They really fell for the rage bait. Even her mannerisms are kinda like Unohana's. They start the next round and Yumeko bets everything she has, and Yuriko does the same. Yuriko has spread out her chips, whilst Yumeko put everything in one spot when she reveals that Yuriko has been cheating by piercing the hands of her assistants and inserting magnets inside them so the swords could get guided to a specific spot. The only thing about this cheat is that it doesn't have a guaranteed win rate. Yeah, homegirl knows she is fried. Yumeko starts talking spicy and Yuriko is borderline hyperventilating, and I would be too, because if Yumeko wins, she gets 2.17 billion yen. This is the type of bread, this is the type of debt that will have your great grandchildren try to pay it off. Yuriko wants to try and negotiate with Yumeko before the result is revealed, but that's when the student council president pulls up and says that she wants to see the results of the game. They reveal the sword and I got no idea what I'm looking at, I'll be real, but I'ma act like I do. Turns out Yumeko actually lost by nothing but sheer luck, and she's now 310 million in debt. She doesn't even look phased, and now all she wants to do is take the student council down even more. She pulls up to the school the next day and they did her the same way they did Mary, and come on bruh, she's been here like 3 days. There's no way she made that many enemies for someone to make a voodoo doll out of her. Even her supposed friends are laughing in her Yumeko doesn't care though and even plays into it. I better not see no gooned out comments. Ryota is a real one though and stays by her side regardless, even offering to give her 1 million yen. W mans. Yumeko says that she doesn't need it since the student council hasn't asked her to actually pay any of her losses. However, she's still a house pet, and we find out that being a house pet is a lot worse than just getting bullied. Both Mary and Yumeko receive their house pet life plans, and they will be forced to marry these random people and have babies with them. What? Is this the student council or the US government? They are both equally gooned out. Next thing you know, they'll tell us the student council owns a private island. The only way to get out of the life plan is to pay them back what you owe. Damn. Ryota and Yumeko are walking through this hallway when this High School Musical bully tells Yumeko to come with him, and since she is a house pet, she must comply. He takes her to this back alley and tells her to get naked. You's a freaky ass nigga. She takes off her blazer but then stops and says that they are all extremely chopped and doesn't want to do what they say. He instantly starts getting violent and choke slams her to the wall. Ryota goes to save a situationship but gets held off by his goons. That's when this goth girl called Midari pulls up. She's a part of the student council and tells Eddie Brock that she would be happy to give it up to him if she beats him in gambling, as she pulls out an actual revolver. What is even going on anymore? She proposes a game of Russian roulette. She will point the gun at him, and if it shoots a blank, she will do whatever he wants, but if it doesn't, he just dies. Do you understand how starving you gotta be to even agree to this? I don't even think Kazuya would agree to this. He declines and gets to walk away unchecked. This man is a P. Diddy level threat to the school. Lock him up. Yumeko thanks Midari and Ryota for coming to her rescue when we cut over to Midari on the toilet, and I want to give a fair viewer discretion. This was indeed the scene that got a young Senshiig throwing up KFC. You can laugh at me all you want in the comments, I don't care. She has the gun, puts it to her head for no reason, and presses the trigger. No money, no gambling, just for the love of the game. She then proceeds to lick the barrel and stick it down you know where, pleasuring herself. I was a young buck with an underdeveloped frontal lobe. Allow me please. Yumeko and Mary both received letters of a debt settlement party, which is an opportunity for you to lessen your debt. It's called a debt swapping game. They'll be split into groups of 4 where they'll be gambling. Whoever wins gets to swap debts with the lowest debt in the group and vice versa. If the person with the lowest debt wins, that means your debt will be erased completely. Yumeko and Mary end up on the same team, and these two are actually kind of a funny duo. The game they'll be playing is called 2-card Indian poker. The dealer passes places the first card on the table, and then the other card will be placed on your head. You won't know what the card on your head is, so you need to try and bet to try and get the best hand to match with the card on the table. I think, I don't know, bro, these games are actually hella confusing sometimes. They each get 10 chips to bet with, and each chip is worth 10% of your debt. So since Yumeko has a 310 million yen debt, her chips are worth 31 million, but Mary's chip is only worth 4.9 million. They get to see the rest of their groups, and the guy who was trying to do a madness with Yumeko is in their group. He only has a 10 million yen debt and joined the game just so he wouldn't have to pay it himself. They play the first 2 hands and Jun is cleaning house. Got him talking like he's the prince of 5 Saiyans. They go into the 4th round and Yumeko puts down 2 chips, beating Jun with a better hand, claiming some coins back. It's Mary's turn and she raises, putting in 4 total chips, but that's when Jun calls out Mary for working together with Yumeko. He's going on some super villain monologue thinking he's the main character. He decides to fold since Mary must have a perfect hand, but she reveals her cards and it was a bad hand, which means she just cleaned house without risking anything. As they keep playing, the smooth brain Neanderthal is spiraling further and further as Yumeko and Mary continue to pick up W's. They reveal that the other girl on the table was actually helping Jun cheat by using the positions of her card to help tell him what his hand was. This would have probably worked on anyone else, but these 2 are cheat codes. They decide to keep playing and bro is sweating buckets.
So we don't have the capacity.
Jun knows he's completely fried. He came in to try and settle a 10 million yen debt and he's about to be more broke than Prime Denji. It's the last play and Yumeko and Mary decide to both bet so that Nanami is the one who wins. Jun realizes this and tries to make her fold, so that's when Yumeko uses her reverse talk no jutsu technique and begins instigating like Prime Mark Phillips. And it seems to have worked as we see a flashback of Jun pinning her down and cutting off her long hair. Yo, send this man 2-3 years Ecuador and forget. Yo, matter of fact, now that I'm thinking about it, where are the teachers, the adults, their parents? Like, they got some Diddy level nonsense happening and no one is even batting an eye. This is worse than the Tokyo Revengers kids. Nanami falls for the rage bait and decides to raise, meaning that she officially wins this round. Or so I thought, because Psylocke reads out the results and it turns out that Mary got 1st place, Nanami got 2nd, Yumeko got 3rd, and Jun got dead last. Turns out that since you're allowed to write whatever debt on the board, they change their values, meaning that Yumeko's chips aren't worth nowhere near as much as everyone thought. Damn, they really played him for a sucker.
So 3, 2, 1, and scammer gets scammed, buddy. That's what you get. You're not getting none of your guns back. No. Whoa. Chill.
After being 310 million in debt, Jun turns into a Prime Chris Brown, Prime Yusuke Urameshi, and tries to land an overhand on Mary, but luckily the student council member tased him, leaving him ass up, knocked out. Sensational. They did an amazing job at making me hate someone so quickly. Mary and Yumeko are a surprisingly enjoyable duo to watch. I was way too harsh on the show when I first dropped it. Mary is definitely a tsundere though. It seems like Yumeko hasn't paid off her debt despite being able to, and Mary confronted Ryota about it since she's confused as to what's actually going on. He tells her that Yumeko wants to gamble with the student council president. The student council overheard this, so they discuss it at the round table. They also find out that both her parents are dead and she's extremely rich. All she has is an ill sister whose medical expenses she takes care of. After Midari finds out Yumeko wants to gamble with the student council president, she goes and looks for her and arrests her. She takes Yumeko and Ryota to the back rooms before challenging Yumeko to gamble. She obviously agrees, so Midari explains that there will be 2 rooms with dealers. Her and Yumeko will be in one room trying to guess how the dealer lays out their cards, and the person with the most correct guessed cards wins. Yumeko asks how much they are going to bet when Midari starts moving like it's Blue Lock and asks whether she's gambled with her life on the line. This woman is mentally ill. She wants to fill up a gun with whatever number of bullets, then mix them up and have a random one be drawn and shot, which basically means that Yumeko could put no bullets in hers but could still pick Midari's, which may or may not be fully loaded. And judging by the bloodstains on the walls, I'm sure a couple of people already lost their souls playing this game. Somehow after hearing this, Yumeko still agrees to play. Yumeko does have some stipulations. They will only play 3 rounds, Ryota must be the dealer, and the loser has to pay 1 billion yen to the winner. Midari also agrees, but says that for every shot missed, the person gets to take a shot at the other. Yo, she's just trying to catch her buddy. Whilst this was going on, Mary gets pulled up on by the student council president, who says that she's the first person to climb out of being a house pet with such a large amount of debt before she invites her to become a member of the student council. Mary declines at first, but the student council president is applying that full court pressure. Long story short, she low-key got the same mentality as Kenjaku from JJK. She's just trying to see pure carnage and see what unfolds when humans are pushed to their mental limits. Mary realizes she's a psychopath and decides to decline her offer again as we cut back to Yumeko and Midari playing this jigsaw game. Tell me this isn't inspired by him. Ryota is trying to figure out how to line them up since Yumeko hinted at them two having a sign, but the only issue is that bro has absolutely zero idea what that sign is supposed to be. This how I be at the start of any exam I ain't studied for. He finally plays his cards and throws out a random sign as he realizes that the sign actually doesn't even matter. It's just to trick Midari. They play the first round and just like I thought, Midari loads up the gun with 6 bullets. They reveal their hand as Yumeko got 2 right and Midari got 3 right, making her the winner. Midari takes out the gun and pulls the trigger as the gun shoots a blank. Yumeko put no bullets in her, but she filled it up with lipstick in the hopes that it misfires. She asks why Midari wants to play this game so much, and she says it's because she's chasing a new kind of high. This is really that crackhead mentality. We find out some of her backstory and she was extremely talented at everything. One day she lost 300 million to the student council president and she wanted her eye. This sicko wanted it as a trophy, moving like it's some type of Kurta clan relic. Midari said forget all that and did it herself the Naruto way, just yanking it out. The game continues and Ryota decides to copy Yumeko's round 1 hand. Yo, I know people be making fun of Ryota online, but this is really how 99% of us would be in a situation. Yumeko tells Midari that she feels zero fear as she has 100% faith in Ryota. They turn over the cards and it seems to have worked out as Yumeko got all of them right. It's Yumeko's turn to shoot the gun and Midari is out here moving like he's Sokka when he was fighting against Gon. I might have to put her in the Hall of Freaks. Yumeko shoots a blank since she apparently knew it was her gun, and this one isn't even that ridiculous because if one gun has 6 bullets and the other has 0, it would be easy to tell like if you just felt both, you know. Midari presses Ryota to put the cards down in 10 seconds or she'll shoot Yumeko. That got Yumeko angry, so she decided to put 2 bullets in her gun. They play the final round and Yumeko explains that Midari has been cheating by reversing the image of the video. Midari don't even care though because she actually just wants to get shot, but as Yumeko reveals her cards, we see that she got all of them wrong too. It's officially a draw. Yumeko begins talking spicy, but not in the usual way. She is genuinely upset at how Midari gambles and calls her a boring suicidal bum. Had Midari looking like a prison school character. Yumeko dips out and we get a little bit of character development between Ryota and Yumeko. I really can't get a read on their relationship at all. I wouldn't be surprised if it turns out she was his like long lost childhood friend or something. We cut over to the next day and this gooner Ryota is watching his celebrity crush idol whilst he has a 10 out of 10 elite milk right in front of him. Ref, do something, he doesn't even want the ball. It's always these brownhead NPCs fumbling the bag. We see the president leaving on a helicopter and I'm gonna be honest, she's looking like a fraud. She heard Yumeko bodied 3 student council members and decided to flee the school. I'm bringing agendas to Kakegurui. That girl Yumeko took down 3 of my best. I better leave the school or I'm finished. Seeing as the student council president has pulled a monkey D dragon, the student council is in shambles. Sakamoto and Yumemi decide to team up and take down Yumeko because their reputation is fried. Everyone is calling them bums. A rumor has been going around that Yumeko is trying to overthrow the current student council president and all the other students are really treating her like she's Luffy and she's about to overthrow a tyrannical regime. Even the girl she packed up is coming back to try and join her side. We cut over to Yumemi doing a meet and greet and there's nothing but Discord moderators, Redditors and Expo players in the line. I can smell the breath through the screen. She's trying to put on face but she actually hates her fans. They are the reason why you are where you are today. Stay humble. This is really how a lot of Hollywood celebrities are behind the scenes. Yumeko and Yumemi agree to have their gambling draw and anytime her eyes have them stars in it, she looks straight out of Oshinoko. The bet will be for 50 million and they have to compete in an idol concert. If Yumeko loses though, she'll have to join Yumemi and become her idol partner as they become the dreaming creaming sister. Yo, I didn't even make this up. This is from the actual dub.
We'll be the dreaming, creaming sisters!
Yumeko asks her why she's an idol even though she despises her fans, and we see a letter of one of her fans that Yumeko somehow got a hold of. After being exposed, she drops the act and says that she indeed despises her fans and just wants to win a Grammy and walk the red carpet. Yumeko flash steps in and takes a recorder out of this girl's pocket that she planted earlier as she now has physical evidence. The new bet is that if Yumemi loses, she will release this audio and ruin her career as an idol. I thought we'd have more of like a setup, but nah. The next episode just starts with Yumeko and Yumemi going band for band in an idol concert. They'll be playing a game of tic-tac-toe, but will only be able to place a nought or a cross if they win in their respective minigame. The first game they'll play is a mini performance, and they were playing straight heat. Yumemi scores an 85, and I did not think Yumeko could sing, and neither did her friends, because she starts singing some kind of perfect Japanese opera and gets 95 points to beat out Yumemi. She might be good at everything. Yumemi rigged the games the same way the Champions League rigs Man City versus Real Madrid, so she can draw in the crowd and make it seem like she's losing. Yumeko is only one away from winning at halftime, and the next is to guess the birthday month of an audience member. This should be all green for Yumemi since she remembers every one of her fans' personal details, but because the nail fetish girl bought out free tickets, it means that she doesn't know the birthdays of Mary, Ryota, and Itsuki, and of course it lands on Mary. Yumemi realizes she's cooked, but spots Yumeko's pan movement and tries to copy it, but then realizes it may be a trick and switches to September last minute, since 6 and 9 could be switched. They reveal the cards and Yumeko went for 6. I was ready to start celebrating thinking she just took down another Akatsuki member.
When is your birthday?
My birthday is March 8th.
Yo, you mean to tell me Yumeko didn't know either? She might be a generational troll, bruh. She just decided to go for 6 because it means she'd have the best chance of being closer to it. Yumeko still ends up the winner and plays the recording in front of all of her fans. It's unlucky that this came out in 2017. If it was today, I would have said it was AI and kept it moving. She comes clean and says that it's the real her and takes it on the chin. I thought it was raps, but these hentai antagonists begin cheering for her even more. They really got the grading kinks. And just like that, they decide to end the episode in a duet between Yumeko and Yumemi. Man, this show is an actual fever dream. They need to make more anime like this.
I was like, man, this is like kind of good. I ain't even gonna lie.
They end the episode by trying to figure out who it was that sent Yumeko the letter. Yumemi says that Rin Itoshi might be the one who set her up. He comes forward and basically says it's cap. Yumeko challenges him to gamble to prove it's not him, and he says he ain't gambling with a house pet, so Yumeko uses her house pet privileges to make it an official match. Sensational. The vice president of the student council will be the overseer and decides that they'll play another original game. Off topic, but she's definitely related in some way to the actual president. They might be twins or like her sister, I don't know, but they look way too alike, and she's wearing that anonymous mask. It's basically the same as poker, but you can't fold or call. You can only bet or raise. Additionally, whoever bets more money can decide whether the stronger or the weaker hand wins the round. This basically just means that whoever has the most money wins. One chip is worth 10 million yen, so Yumeko chooses 31 chips, whereas Kaede goes in with 100 chips. Damn. They start the first round and Yumeko raises more than Kaede and chooses to go for high, giving her the right to choose. She goes for higher and wins the round. You can tell this guy thinks he's some type of Aizen level strategist. Everyone has a plan until they're face to face with Prime Yumeko. They go into the next round and Yumeko goes all in with 41 million yen. You'd think this was green, but Kaede just raises by 1 and chooses stronger, making him the winner. That felt so anticlimactic, because it was. It seems like you can continue playing the game as long as you top up more chips. Yumeko calls on Itsuki to give her more bread and pressures her into helping. Kaede starts talking down on her and tells her to not go against the council since he was actually the one who recommended her onto the council in the first place. Yumeko makes a valid point and decides to quote peak by saying, "There's no such thing as a painless lesson. They just don't exist. Sacrifices are necessary. You can't gain anything without losing something first. Although, if you can endure that pain and walk away from it, you'll find that you now have a heart strong enough to overcome any obstacle." And those words were enough to motivate anyone, as Itsuki decides to raise 1 billion yen towards Yumeko. W character development. Let the squabble commence. Yumeko goes in with 20 chips, so Kaede raises 20 chips, as Yumeko says F it and goes all in again with the same play. Kaede laughs and raises Yumeko anyways, as Itsuki once again steps in and continues to raise. This might be the closest thing we'll ever get to a band for band in anime. These guys are really seeing whose pockets are deeper. Kaede pulls a Bruce Wayne and raises 100 chips. Yumeko tells Itsuki she still has one thing left she can wager: her life. Have you ever gambled with your life on the line? Yumeko is a master manipulator. You gotta be careful around people like this. These types of narcissists will drag you to the pits of hell and convince you it was all your own fault. Itsuki folds and says that she will bet her life. The vice president allows the raise and appraises her value at 10 billion yen. won. Kaede says that ain't fair when she takes off her anonymous mask and we see that it's actually the president? What? Don't get me wrong, I understood that they had some type of resemblance, but I thought we saw the president inside that house having an Akatsuki meeting. They are definitely twins because there's no way she flew back in time. Kaede gets his own villain backstory, so he decides to wager his life in return. Bro, why is no one talking about this? If poker and chess are considered sports, then Kakegurui is the most insane sports anime of all time. Itsuki is tweaking out and even tries to offer Mary and Ryota, but they are both worth beans. It's really raps, so Kaede gets to choose and goes with the stronger hand. Itsuki is crying cause her life is fried. He has a strong hand, but when Yumeko reveals her hand, kidding.
It's just as I expected.
Anything is possible! Yumeko and Itsuki just fleeced this bum for 13 billion yen, $84 million. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. This is why you don't gamble. 84 million doubloons because he wanted to order from and become the student council president. Astaghfirullah. This is actually tapped. Bro was so cooked. His hair turned white. Do you understand how insane that is? Ken Kaneki was tortured by Jason for damn near 2 weeks before his hair turned white due to stress. This man received the same results after getting deafed by a couple of bisexual high schoolers. Yumeko sits down face to face with the student council president, who says that she wants to see a supernova. It's basically just a metaphor for wanting to see an explosion so bright it eventually fizzles out. Whether she's referring to herself is up to interpretation. These overly overpowered strong anime characters always have some type of self-sabotaging belief of wanting to be taken down one day, kinda like Aizen. They cut over to the next day and Ryota confronts Yumeko, telling her that going against the student president is crazy, but he ain't planning on stopping her. And call me crazy, but I forgot bro even existed over these last couple of episodes, man. Mary and Itsuki pull up and try to find a cheating tactic to help Yumeko win, but it's obvious Yumeko is obviously not gonna cheat. They pull up and the short girl will be the referee. They don't put any money down, but they put their right to remain at the academy since they both love it here. They begin to explain the game and they are using these tarot cards of destiny. They will each choose one card from the deck and that card will determine the score, since the cards are marked with numbers from 1 to 21. If it's upright, it will be positive, and if it's reversed, it will be negative. If the grand total is positive, then Yumeko wins, and if it's negative, then Kirari wins. There's also a joker card called the Fool. If the card is drawn and it's upright, then Yumeko wins, and if it's reversed, then Kirari wins. They made the explanation so confusing, but once they actually play the game, it's just hella simple. The student council president will draw for the past, Yumeko will draw for the present, and Ryota will be the one that draws for the future. Yumeko draws the first card and gets a +1. The president picks the next card and it's -21, meaning she's in the lead with 20 points. Long story short, it's over. She begins yapping about fate and probabilities, and I'm starting to believe her. She must have studied the luck formula on the Ego Jinpachi, out here moving like plot soggy. Ryota picks the next card and he basically has to draw the Fool if he wants a chance at winning. It seems like Mary and Itsuki figured out the trick, but this useless buffoon can't seem to figure it out. Yumeko tells him to relax and it's not that deep since he has no risk, but he basically borderline confesses his feelings and says that he wants to stay by her side and continue to watch her play, which means the risk is equal. That had everyone blushing. Itsuki is really starting to grow on me. She is definitely a Ryota x Yumeko shipper. Look at her in the background, bruh. Turns out there's some kind of blue mark on one of the cards, but there's no way it's that simple. We're talking about the student council president. Even Ryota understands it and makes his proclamation that he won't let anyone control his choice, and dare I say this is the first time this bum even had an ounce of aura in the entire story so far. Had his situationship gushing. Yumeko tells him to let it fly as he locks in, picks a completely random card which turns out to be a +20, meaning that the exact score comes out to 0, making the official score a draw. Damn, no one wins and no one needs to leave the academy. They try to find out whether the marked card was actually the Joker, but this little gremlin shuffles them up and takes the deck. What are you doing? Man, I'm actually so happy I ended up going back and finishing this hilariously entertaining show. Me dropping it before getting to see the ending was like that one meme of that guy looking for diamonds. This is really one of them shows that isn't in anyone's top 10 or even like a top 15, but people will always speak fondly of it because it has just a bunch of enjoyable characters and an interesting plotline. Turns out that the person who left was actually the vice president, and the little girl knew all along, which means my twin's theory might be correct. The plot thickens. This show does seem to have a season 2, so if we get, let's say, 14k. If we get 14k likes, I'll bring you guys up a part 2. But yeah, that's it from me. If you made it this far, make sure you subscribe and join the family. Join my Discord. I also got a second channel where I started posting random content on random topics like cartoons, so check it out. YouTube thinks you'll like this video on screen next, so tap in. Peace.